Good mid-morning. It is about 10 a.m. here in lovely Massachusetts, and today I am on my way to North Conway, New Hampshire. Leaves are changing a little early this year. I don't know if I'm going to get much color, but I'm going to head out there and do some photography. This trip is as much about getting some headspace as it is about landscape photography. You can probably see Seymour is not with us today. We're going to miss him, but he is inside with my daughter, who is amazing with him. I did rent a new lens. I rented the Fuji 100 to 400. Over the past year or so, I have primarily shot on the 16 to 55. Both of these are the Fuji Red Badge lenses. I absolutely love the 16 to 55. It's really helped me develop my skills and style. I just haven't played around and learned how to use a longer lens. And I feel like in a place like Conway, New Hampshire, where we have these mountainous areas, that's a great opportunity to do it. I have to admit that I have had and have even now anxiety about you. You would think, like, what are you talking about, Rich? You're going away on vacation to North Conway in the fall in New England. Like, that should be so nice and relaxing. You're right. But if you're like me and you deal with anxiety and OCD, this trip provides an opportunity for me to practice letting go, right? Just allowing things to be what they are. And that's really a big part of photography, especially landscape photography, right? Like, you get what you get. You can plan a lot, sure. And if you're really great at lining all those pieces up, ultimately, we're not in charge. Mother Nature's in charge. And when you show up, what you get is what you get. And you just have to be present to it. Let's go, shall we? Pretty much every time I do anything, take a new photography journey, outing, trip, I spend all this time making lists, making sure I don't forget things, figuring out how to pack things properly. I never feel like, okay, I'm prepared. Now I'm calm. I don't. I'm driving now. I'm I don't know, an hour and change into my trip. And I'm already obsessing about, oh crap, did I remember to bring my laptop charger? It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, it seems, how much I prep. I'm always anxious about it. I always think I forgot something major and have to stop and check. Usually I do forget something, and just hopefully it's nothing. Oh, I gotta switch the camera on. This is a nice view. Hopefully it's just not something significant. Okay, quick little break. We've crossed the border from Massachusetts into New Hampshire. Stopped at the Welcome Center here just to make sure I had my charger, which I do. Off we go, back onto the Great American Highway. So I made it to North Conway. Turns out my calculations were a little off. So I'm gonna go check out this place called Cathedral Ledge, which is just about 10 minutes from where I'm staying. Coming up here on our right, probably not through the trees here. So what you're seeing here behind me is Cathedral Ledge. And we just missed some climbers making it to the top there. This is sort of the overlook that you can drive up to and hike maybe 100 yards in to see it, but it's a beautiful spot. It is not very far from where I'm staying, so I may come back. I've got about a little over a half an hour before I can check in, and then I can offload a bunch of gear and potentially hike up somewhere for golden hour. Okay, here we are. This is a really nice little spot. I am walking distance to downtown North Conway. I don't know how much time I'll spend there other than to get coffee and a bite to eat, but that's really nice. Oh, and a beer. I deserve a beer. Likely I'm gonna head out and do some stuff, and I'll be tired when I get back and just want to crash. I'll tell you the question I'm asking myself right now. It's about 3:15. There is Mount Willard, which is one place I scoped out online that's got just a phenomenal view. I believe it's about I want to say 2-hour up and back. So I could get all settled in and head that way and just do that hike to scope it out, because maybe I want to do a sunrise hike there, and I also want to do the Kangamangas, even though I know that's touristy, but I'm sure I'll find places along the way. And the reality is I have so much to learn when it comes to landscape photography, and I have a new lens with me, so that's going to take some getting used to. I have a polarizer, which I feel a little embarrassed to say I've never used before. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this bed, and I'm going to make a decision. This day has been a heck of a day. It was a wonderful drive to New Hampshire, but then we had some difficult situations arise at home, which is obviously hard to manage from 3 hours away, but managed it as best as I can, which basically meant that this Friday was a wash. Like I got here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought I was going to be able to go out and do a hike. Nope, couldn't do it. This day has been a wash. On top of that, I figured out what I forgot. Now, you might look at this setup and say, something looks strange here. I've never seen that before. I forgot my Arca Swiss plate. So instead, I am jerry-rigging, if that's a term, my L bracket so that I can use it with my 100 to 400. Ingenuity? Let's call it ingenuity. So I was going to get a beer tonight. I skipped that because it's a little bit later now. So hopefully I can sleep good tonight. I'm going to get up early. And I think I'm going to go to Mount Willard. I'll be hiking up a trail that I've never been on in the dark. But you know what? F it. Whatever, man. I'm just going. So this morning's a bit of a mess. I mean, not terribly so, but I just can't really get my mind around planning. And so I don't think I'm going to do a tremendous amount of planning. A quick step outside, crystal clear skies, a brief attempt at looking at different platforms to sort of predict weather yielded some confusion for me. I'm just going to get in the car and drive the Kangamangas Highway today and see what I come across and shoot what I want to shoot. Maybe if I have the energy at the end of the day, I can do Mount Willard hike and sort of scout it potentially for doing a morning hike tomorrow. That's the plan. Okay, it's about 10 past 6. We are in the car and ready to roll. What I'm feeling right now is that I just need to really just drop all my expectations and just hit the road. So that's what I'm going to do. I might grab a coffee on the way. I might not. Here we go. I think I'm coming to terms with what this day might look like. Of course, that can always change. But I'm gonna cruise the Kangamangas Highway. I think what I'll do is I think it may be like a 3-hour drive. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it is. But I'm gonna drive it and use my initial pass as scouting. Drive into Lincoln at the other end, stop, get some lunch, chill out a little bit, come back and try to hit some spots that I scouted out on my way there during good light. Or I could come back tomorrow. I could do both. Or I could decide to recalibrate and go do Mount Willard tomorrow morning. All right, so we are at our first real stop where I think I might try and shoot something. I'm not totally convinced that this is going to be a shot that I keep, but you may see back there in the distance, there's some beautiful mountains and some mist lying in the low hills. The light from the sun is a little harsh above it, but this is a good opportunity for me. Let me get a little light on me. This is a good opportunity for me to get that long lens out and just play around with it and get some experience with it. So that's what I'm going to do. You can see right there in the sort of gap, there's this low-lying mist, the mountains behind it. This light up here is probably going to not be great, but yeah. Like I said, this is a good opportunity for me to just take a few shots, so that's what I'm going to do. So I just stopped at Seal Graham Wagon, I think that's what it's called, Scenic Overlook. Took a few shots there. There was some beautiful light and beautiful mist in the valley. I didn't shoot any video there because honestly I just wanted to focus on taking some photos. The bummer about these lookouts is that, you know, there's typically a lot of foliage in the way. But with the long lens, I was able to reach out and isolate some stuff, so that's cool. And now we're moving on to see what we find next. Okay, I just passed another overlook. I think it's called Pemasewick. I'm probably not saying that right, most definitely not saying that right. But I saw it. It was too late for me to pull in when I saw it, so I just turned around. There's not a lot of places to turn around here on the Kangamangas, and I'm headed back that way and we'll take a look. I think I might get a look, be able to get some cliffs from that angle. So let's take a peek. It really seemed like the day was going my way. The weather was phenomenal. There were some beautiful atmospheric conditions. Cruising the Kangamangas Highway was just so amazing. I even found some great overlooks where I could take some beautiful photographs. I even met another photographer. I was having a good time. Until. So, you know, I kept going back and forth in my head about whether I should continue on or not on this trip. Or if I should continue on or not in making these videos. Because if I'm being honest, I'm not having a great time this weekend. I've had a few things happen that have, you know, drawn my awareness down into the lower realms, one of which I just showed you. It was just a stupid mistake. I parked in a lot that had big concrete blocks. My Forerunner's pretty high in its stance. I couldn't see it. I drove forward and bam. So my lovely Forerunner's got a big old scratch in the bumper. I guess on the upside, A, it's cosmetic, and B, boy, these Forerunners are tough AF, man. Like this had to be I don't know how many pounds, but huge concrete block, and the Forerunner just pushed it forward, not like crazy. So it's cosmetic, whatever. At this point, I just decided to accept the fact that I wasn't feeling it. So I hopped in the Forerunner, scratches and all, and headed back to Conway. Once I got there, I grabbed a cup of coffee and just hung out at a cafe and wrote in my journal for a little while. I debated on whether I should even stay, complete the trip, keep shooting. I just couldn't get into the right place. So I took a nap, and when I woke up, I decided to head to Mount Willard. So I decided to do Mount Willard, and we are just about to the top. There is light at the end of the trail. Let me show you. Success. I'm headed back down to the car from the overlook of Mount Willard here in New Hampshire. And it was beautiful. It was wonderful. Whether I got any shots or not, time will tell. I didn't film up there because there was a lot of people up there. Had a wonderful little experience where there was a young couple there that I was chatting with, both on the way up and at the top. And the young man sort of snuck over when he had a moment away from his partner and asked if I would photograph them because he was going to propose. So I took my camera off the tripod and just quickly set everything to auto because the light was a little difficult up there, for me at least, and grabbed a couple shots, and that felt really nice. So headed back down to the car, gonna get some dinner and a beer and go to bed. I'm not sure if I'll do anything more tomorrow. This trip has been interesting. It's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster for me for various reasons, some of which I mentioned earlier, and I won't go into detail because, you know, they're personal. But as far as my contemplative life and how that all relates, lately I have been really reflecting on what some people, depending on what your spiritual bent is, Eastern philosophy, Buddhism, whatever, some people might call the middle way. I was listening to Joseph Goldstein, who I think is an amazing teacher, on my way here in the car. And I was listening to a talk that he gave on equanimity of mind, which is just a more fancy way of saying the middle way. You know, and it's just amazing how our minds can go from one extreme to another. You know, literally earlier today, hours ago, I was debating whether I was just going to go home because I just wasn't feeling it. I had all these things arise in life that were sticky emotionally and were contributing to me having this feeling of being defeated. And that led to fear and anxiety and all other things. But now, boy, has that pendulum swung. And it's great to feel good, but it's better to have equanimity. So that's something I'm working on. Anyways, this might be it for this episode. If it is, and you joined me, I want to thank you. I have a lot to learn in life, in photography, and certainly in video making. And if you're watching, I'm grateful, and I hope you come back again.